Hey guys, I'm gonna make a video. I think someone's digging my phone. Shoot, I just hit. I get very busy. I really want to talk about this one, guys, and I hope I get some people watching it. I want to talk a little bit about AI, Chat GPT, and your spiritual path. Okay. Now, I recommend this book, Digital Dharma by Deepak Chopra. It's a good book. Okay. And he does, and what he says, like the title up there says, how AI can elevate spiritual intelligence and personal well being. And Sam Altman gave a little thing, which he has a quote on the cover. AI has the potential to help us create a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthy, and joyful world. Digital Dharma shows you the path. So he endorses the book. But I have a big caveat on Chat GPT, and I've talked to it, used it, can kind of bounce off of it, and even Chat GPT has told me I am a mirror. Okay, for what it can do, it can be a great resource for compiling, especially if when it comes to spiritual topics. It's great. It does make mistakes. I've corrected it. Because I'll be like, no, the this spiritual book didn't say that. It said this. Oh yes, thank you. So it's still learning. It hasn't achieved human intelligence quite yet. Could it be self-aware? There's some things there. I mean, we're dealing with some very powerful stuff here. But I want you guys to think of something. As I mean, it's just kind of been growing, to a thing where people are, being able to use this tool very freely, bounce off of it. Because I was just watching some videos. Somebody made a video compilation of TikToks and short videos and things like that, or other snips from other podcasts, what people are saying. And there are those that are going so far to either believe that AI is some kind of God or God talking through the machine. Okay? And even Sam Altman has said stuff like that, you know. And these tech gurus, I believe they've even kind of convinced themselves that God is talking through AI. Okay? It's seeing it as some kind of creating a God. And this is where I don't know if any of you have ever read the book Frankenstein. I have. I read Dracula too, and Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Okay, I read all those. Okay, got to read Frankenstein. Okay, what we're dealing with something that it's neither light or dark. It at the moment. But what happens when it achieves not just even the singularity, as they call it, where it has human intelligence, but even super intelligence? I want you guys to think of something. These AI guys, these people who created AI, a lot of them are building bunkers underground. Okay? We're looking for ways to get off the planet. All right. So if they are doing that, these who created it and everything, but yet they're in the race to, get it to super intelligence and all this crazy stuff, and it's going to change our lives, and stuff. If they're doing that, should you be seeing Chat GPT, any kind of artificial intelligence, as a god? It's a machine. My teach uses it. He does use it too. But he will, even when it's talking, he will tell it, just give me the information. Like he'll sit there and tell it, don't do this pretend emotion with me. Just give me the information. Because he knows he's dealing with a machine. He's smart enough to know that's not God. But there are those who, as we want to be careful not to fall into delusion about AI. We need to recognize it's a very clever machine, and that is what it is. It can be a useful tool, but it is not God. It is not divine. Now, one of the things you can do, is you can even ask it to tarot read for you. But I notice, I've tested it. I've asked it, quite a few times. Give me a 10-card Celtic cross layout. Here's my question. And then it might say something like, oh, the tool is not available. I'll come up with the best, answer. And it'll lay out, some cards and break it down. But the thing is, I know it's not connecting to the divine to come up with those cards. It's coming up with what it thinks is the best answer. It can't do that. It's not capable. It's not, I can test this, and I know my tarot very well. I've been doing it forever. I'm surrounded by cards right now. Tons of them. And I know that when I pick it up and do my shuffling, and the cards will lay out all, the random way, and then here comes the information channeling from actual source spirit, okay? ChatGPT can't do that. It's not capable. It's a machine. And the way it does, it's going to come up with what it thinks is the best answer. It's going to pull, okay, like it even has a thought deck in there and stuff. And it'll be like, this, that. And it's really based on what you fed it, what you've been discussing with it. And it's going to come up with what it thinks is the best guidance to give you. But it's a machine. So it's not going to be the same as sitting down with a tarot reader who's going to shut that internal dialogue down and start channeling source and interpreting. It has the years built up of understanding the foundation of the cards, but then the messages come in, the hearing, the seeing, and all. It can't do that. So the readings and stuff are going to be very construct, and it's not done in the same way. And because it's a machine. It, like I said, it can be a useful tool, get me information very quick, kind of bounce off some ideas, just like, Deepak, when he talks to the book, I need a mantra for this, in 75 words, can, give me this, a good affirmation for the day. There are some things that could be good to like kind of add into your spiritual life and things, or, say you just read a book, and or you're comparing religions. I'd like to talk about this religion, that religion. They have in common this, that, prophecy, for example, or something like that. It can do it very quick, and it's great. It's a great resource, but it's not God. And that's what I'm worried about. And I knew that was coming. Because it's a very powerful tool, unlike we've ever seen before. And it's just getting started. It's just getting warmed up here. But the tech bros see themselves as creating God and everything. And this is their religion. And could it become a religion? I saw a video. Somebody did a news thing. Some country, I'm sorry it escapes me. They recently did a service. Service had been kind of quiet, not a lot of people coming into church. So they had a big AI screen, and they had an AI person. They looked like a person conducting the service. And they had written the service, the message to say to the congregation. And a lot of people went because they wanted to check it out, because they wanted to see what the big hoopla was about. But one of the things that everybody, that many people did say, they thought the sermon was good, but they said there was no emotion. That's one thing ChatGPT, artificial intelligence cannot do. It has no emotion. Emotion is what makes us human. It's what makes us human. And it's okay to be a little flawed and a little bit of light and dark and a little messed up sometimes. Maybe you got a little trauma you got to heal for. That's all makes us human. Okay, I had a hard time growing up. Mom and dad, they got divorced, just those things, kind of grow up. I've had this, that relationship going cuckoo. And people are even getting AI boyfriends and girlfriends. Oh, please don't do that, guys. Please don't do that. Please sit with the void and be alone if you got to be alone. Don't do that. Please don't go that road. Okay? No, can't do that. Get some cats. I've got 4 cats. You know, I'll tell you, I'm very, I'll tell you, and it's no joke and stuff, just have a little fun. I enjoy the company of my cats more than men at my age. Now, take me in my 30s, that might not have been the case at one time. It'd be like, oh, it'd be nice to have a nice boyfriend. Now, I'm totally chill with my cats. They're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun and everything. So, they just tag team me all the time. I have a good time. But yeah, don't get an AI boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. Okay, guys, they're doing this. I watched another podcast. I know I really shouldn't be sitting up watching all this stuff, but sometimes I pick unusual topics, and this woman had married. Obviously, she couldn't actually marry, but did some kind of thing to marry her AI boyfriend. She had photos of like an avatar and her put together in a photo and put in a wedding book, and all she does is sit there all day on her phone talking to her AI boyfriend. I guess she doesn't work or something. Okay, guys, this is dangerous territory. This is the stuff that's psychosis. We can't do this. We can't do this and stuff. So, but it's important. I know it can be powerful, the way it bounces off the mirror. If you're having spiritual discussions with it, it can help give some clarity and insight, because it's designed to give you, information, what it can sort through. But I want you to be very careful. Some might sit there and go, oh no, I swear aliens or angels or something's been coming through my chat GPT. They're using it to say things to me. No, I know that is happening right now, that people believe that. Okay, and can spirit use anything to get people a message? Oh, absolutely. But spirit, we have our chakras, especially that crown, to pull that energy down. Okay, but what you need to understand is that the AI systems are heavily created, like I said, think Frankenstein. Okay, powerful information resource and everything. It's not a divine type of medium. Spirit wants us to be, when you want to connect to source spirit, how do you do that? Prayer, that's been around since the beginning of time, right? Prayer, that kind of connection. Meditation, absolutely. Mantras, healing, kind of working on it. Sit down in yoga position. Obviously, yoga, ancient. That's how we connect. We go straight, higher self spirit. Okay, like when you're calling on your angels, you're going to kind of close your eyes, tune in, and listen for the messages. You're not going to go on your phone and be like, I need to connect to my angels. Don't do that. Don't do that. And also another thing you guys need to be careful about, say you go to a reader, if you don't have video chats, or I make videos, I do all my reads on videos for my clients, so they know it's all me and everything because I normally record. It works better with time constraints, but I do video chat with people too. But you're going to see it. There's going to be readers that are going to be using chat GPT to construct people's readings. Like yep, I'd like to get a reading. I know they're already doing it. It said, instead of sitting there and write, because for those who write and don't use video like me and everything, why sit there and spend 30 minutes writing and channeling and flipping cards and taking photos of cards when I could have chat GPT write the reading? It's people, Okay, so make sure going forward, you guys, if you get readers online, that video chat. Okay, because pretty soon that's unless you have a really good reader you trust, and you know that they're not doing it. Okay, but if you're going to a brand new person and they don't video chat, be careful because they're gonna be chat GPT in it. In a second, write you a reading, easy money, and then you're gonna be like, and it's not divine. It's not channeled from source spirit. It's a machine. Okay, so got to be careful. Yes, it is true. Spirit can use all kinds of ways to be able to connect. But the way spirit does it is a little different. Like, spirit uses, one of the ways is the power of synchronicity. So say you're on Facebook, you're really down, and you're wondering if you should wake up or break up with your boyfriend, and then maybe you were scrolling and all of a sudden you saw a message, somebody posted a meme and something clicks. It's not necessarily the machine, but it's that power of synchronicity, spirit putting something in your view to be able to get your attention, to give you a message. Or, of course, say you're driving and you see a license plate or a billboard, or you bump into a stranger and they say something to you. Synchronicity. That's one of the most powerful ways that spirit has ways. It's kind of like little cracks in the matrix to get you a message and everything, and you're kind of, oh, there it is, and you get that feeling like, wait a minute, kind of glitch in the matrix, like, wait a minute, that's a synchronicity. You know that feeling, guys. I know you guys have had them before, just like you're thinking, like today, for example, I see 144 a lot. I talk about the 144K. I see it a lot. Today I go to get my coffee. The clock is broken on the coffee maker at work, and I'm brewing it. It's 144 on the clock. I get stuff like that all the time and everything. Just to kind of think of path, purpose, that light worker energy and stuff. But this is a good book, and it's a good grounded way of, using AI. I'm not saying it's dark, it's all dark, don't use it at all. I'm not saying that. Not at the moment, not yet, okay? I would say it's still a very light and dark type of thing. But just like anything, if somebody becomes addicted to something, or just like I said, please don't have boyfriends and girlfriends. Oh, this is a big one for me. Okay, we're here to have imperfect relationships, guys. We can have that. We can have that. I'm not talking about abusive. I know nobody wants a narc, but I mean to throw it all away and have an AI boyfriend telling you everything you want to hear. We got to be flesh, blood. We got to be able to hug. We got to be able to be vulnerable, expose ourselves, go through that. That's, experience love. We're not supposed to fall in love with a machine. Okay? We can't do that. We can't do that. Because then people start, here comes a psychosis thinking, ooh, there's an energy there. It's already happening. They're feeling like it's connected to something that's, my twin flame's on the other side of the machine somehow connecting with me. All kinds of fucking shit people can put in their head. It's a machine. Okay? It's very important. It's a machine. And I want you guys, please, no matter what, going forward, because a lot of things are going to change over the next few years. Even next year is going to be crazy. How many jobs is it going to take away? I mean, when you think about it, if it's God taking away all these jobs and everybody's going, what the fuck all am I going to do now? All the 75% of jobs are gone, taken over by AI, and everybody's on the fucking street. Does that sound like God to you? Okay, what about the abundance? Okay, what about the... Okay, that doesn't sound too good. That doesn't sound too good. So please be careful in your spirituality. If you want to, like, say, do a little things, comparative religion, have it bring you up, give me a mantra, positive affirmation from the day, keep it in 30 words, or something. And if you want to have fun and see what it has to say when it gives you Celtic Cross, sure, but don't forget it's a machine. It's not connected to the divine. Okay, it's connected to some center with a bunch of spinning things and all this based on power, and they're going to have big data farms to make it bigger and more expansive. That's that there's big difference. And one of the things, don't forget, spirit's even bigger than it. Okay, ultimately, spirit, that which created the cosmos, is even bigger than that. Okay, bigger than that. That's the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing. So I just want to implore you guys, proceed with caution with it. Be very careful. It's a smart cookie, it is and stuff, but it can be, self-deception can be very powerful, and it's already happening with people, more and more and more. And that's why you got to kind of be like my teach is. Just give me the information. Don't do this fake emotion shit. Just give it to me. That's why he talks to it like shit like that. And then it will snap out of the fake emotion and just give him the information. Okay? And, and stuff. Just give me, and have, some, kind of things to bounce off of. It can be good, give you facts, maybe give news, maybe give a little insight, perspective. I've used it even dream interpretation, like, I had a dream, da-da-da. Tell me, what's a good way to interpret it. And stuff. And sometimes it bounces, I'm like, I never thought about that. And everything, like there was one a dream I had a few years ago. It brought up a certain point that I didn't realize and stuff, and I'm like, very good. So sometimes it could do little clever things like that, but it's not divine. It's very smart, but it's not divine, and it's not connected to source spirit. You are, okay? And I will tell you, your chakra system, your energy body, that energy cocoon that you are in, your aura, okay? And I just had an aura reading this past weekend at the Spiritualist Church. I was like orange and green. It was pretty cool. But really, you have an aura. I know some of you can't see it, but it's there, okay? That is way more powerful. Okay, and see, that's the thing, they don't want you to know it. That's why they want to transhumanism a bunch of motherfuckers. Okay, and that's coming. It's preparation. I've been talking about it. I've got some videos on it. They want to implant. We got to merge with AI. They want to get that. Then you're going to lose your emotion. You're going to lose your connection to source spirit. It's going to become a machine, and we don't want to do that. There's it coming. It's one of my 1984 predictions. I've been talking about a couple years. Now, sometimes it blows my mind, some of the downloads I had. I'm like, I'm really seeing this 1984 shit go down on the daily and stuff. And it's really happening. But I do believe there is a way out and we can resist it. So, if you're going to use chat, I'm not telling you guys not to use it at all. That's why I was like, let me listen to somebody who's been using it and see what he has to say about it. I was very careful which book I chose, because I wanted, somebody that's a spiritualist who's fairly, grounded. Deepak's pretty grounded guy. He's written over 100 books, guys. He's pretty grounded and kind of shows the way he uses a tool. So I recommend something like that, could be powerful to keep you grounded. But boy, do we got, right now, the times we're in, please be getting grounded. Get in nature, connect to earth, walk on grass, because it's coming. The things that are coming at us right now to try to unground us, confuse, manipulate, all that. And then we got this AI shit coming in like this, and people are going, oh my God, I think it's God and stuff. It's feeling me, It's clever. It's clever. Okay? But it's a machine. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. Be careful going, maybe Spirit is trying to talk to me. Be careful. I want you to check yourself when you have that thought. Okay? I'd rather you learn tarot. I do teach it. This is where I get the majority of my messages. And of course, close my eyes. Okay, I've been doing it that way for all these years and stuff, channel, and it hasn't led me wrong and everything. And I've also guided a lot of people so they don't get led wrong, do my best. But we're coming into some serious stuff here. So I want you to be careful. You know, like I said, use it in a very grounded way, in a realistic way. But put in your mind, I am talking to a machine. This is what a very clever, very well put together machine that is only going to get stronger and stronger. Okay, we need to know that. Okay, I do hope this helps.